This is an addendum. This is an addendum to the episode. This is an addendum. Say it with me now. This is an addendum. Shut up. I mean them, not you. Not you. I want the people in the cars to sing and the people listening in their homes, not you. You don't speak or you don't sing. Folks, here's the addendum. I woke up this morning and I said what I really wanted to say about politics is that the way people vote is usually the most predictable and the least interesting thing about them. Politics is base level. It's ugly. It's primordial. It's from our reptile brains. It really is. If you're an evolved human being, and many of you listening are like, I'm not, and I get that. But if you're an evolved human being, it's impossible to not get bored with this. And that's kind of what I mean. I'm interested in a lot of things. I'm interested in people that transform themselves, that went through something and came out the other side better, stronger, more capable. I'm interested in people that have built businesses. I'm interested in great art. I'm interested in food. I'm interested in a million different things. But the retail brand of American politics is just vulgar. It really, and I'm not saying it doesn't have its place and it's not important. But to fixate endlessly on the horse race between Democrats and Republicans and to spend your entire life doing that is wasting your brain. Why do you think people love Rogan's show? They love it for a million reasons. One of the reasons is that he has varied interests and the show caters to that. He's genuinely curious. That's why that every show that's simply about politics has some kind of cap. You hit a wall. That's why I cared about politics as a kid and as like a young adult, as a young man, and I still to an extent care about it, and I care about the implications of it. But when you watch it for any period of time, you start to notice patterns emerge. You start to notice the nature of it feels cyclical. It has seasons. It's like a television show. It has a cast. They bring on new cast members. Some cast members leave. Some never leave. It becomes predictable to an extent. That's why Donald Trump was so exciting to people, because he came in and it was unpredictable and it felt wild. And it felt like, because he was saying things that you had never heard a politician say before. And he was saying them in a way that you had never heard anybody speak that was running for president. But when you look at why people vote for whoever they vote for, when you travel around the country, I think the people that truly believe in the political system, and this is nothing wrong with it, they believe in people. They believe in people. And now that's good, but that's where we are going to diverge. That's where our opinions, we're going to have a divergence of opinion. I believe that most people, bless their hearts, are pretty simple and they want to be herded. They want to be treated like cattle. This is what they want. It doesn't mean that I'm better than other people. I am, but it doesn't mean that. It means that real, like when you look at the system and you look at the people that are able to maneuver in this system, you know, they're very good at presenting a side of themselves to people. And what I've always been interested in is, what are those people like behind closed doors? What are they really like? Whether they're in Hollywood or whether they're in Washington Or who are they really? And how did they really get to where they got? And what do they really believe? Do they believe in anything? Or are they just kind of like a liquid that takes the shape of their container? Some of them do believe in things. Some of them are ideologues. Some of them aren't. Some of them are sociopaths. Some of them wouldn't know. Some of them have never met themselves. Those are some of the most successful people I know. They've never even met themselves. So, but politics, I mean, the great line from Succession, he goes, politics, that's what comes out the asshole. How wrong is that? How wrong literally is. Think of all the beautiful things in the world. Love, calamari, all of the things that are worth more than politics. It's the obsession with the right and wrong. I'm right, you're wrong. I'm on this team, you're on that. I'm going to beat you. It's a boring. Be an evolved human being. And so that's where I'm at. It's ugly. It's base level. Most of it. It's the expression of like the darkness in us. It's completely run by fear. Or most of it. And there are rare glimpses of humanity and beauty, but go look at anything else and it's much easier to glean a little hope for mankind than it is just simply looking at, what Elizabeth Warren said. Good for her. Not hating on her. I'm just picking her. She just floated into my mind. But that's what I meant to say. It's not taking away anything from anybody that's an activist or anybody that's traded in a lucrative profession to genuinely help people. I don't know any of those people. And I know a few of them. I actually do know a few of them who walked away from lucrative professions to actually help people. Okay, that's none of the people you see on Twitter. None of them. It's none of the blue check marks. It's none of the people that are highlighted by our media. It's none of the people. It is predominantly people that toil in the shadows, people that you will fucking never know about. Maybe there'll be a documentary about them, and there probably won't be. Okay? So those people are fascinating and interesting to me, but it's really what you think it is. That's the thing about politics. It's actually exactly what you think it is. Not the real story, not the inner workings of it, but why people voted for Donald Trump, why they voted for Hillary Clinton. You could pretty much cut that cake pretty easily with a butter knife. It just falls right apart. You get it. You can see why. I want my guns. Okay, good. No one should have a gun. It's like, all right. That's where we're at. No abortions. Everyone has an abortion. Okay. That's where we're at. It doesn't hold my interest. And if it holds your interest, good for you. It did hold my interest when I was 19 and smoking pot every day. And it was kind of funny. And me and my buddies were watching the Bush Kerry election, and we're watching cable news, and it was kind of cartoonish. We're watching Chris Matthews, and it was a great show called MSNBC Late Night, and they'd have like Ron Reagan's son, who's effeminately gay but has a wife, and he's like, my father would stop it. And they would have like people like Steve Earle, the folk singer, and Katrina Vanden Heuvel, who ran the nation, and then Pat Buchanan, and he'd just be like, the whore, white man, the whore. And they would all sit together in Central Park, and then Bill O'Reilly on the other channel would yell and scream and talk about traditionalism. And at a certain point, you realize that everybody's collecting a check. That's kind of all that's happening. That's what it is. So that's my addendum. Seek beauty. Seek truth. Join the Patreon. Come see my live shows. Buy the merch that we're having ready. Seek beauty and truth. Stop spending time in the American political. It's vulgar. It's gross. Have some self-respect. You're on the planet for a certain amount of years. How much are you going to waste it staring at Rachel Maddow? You're wasting your life. They don't give a fuck. They don't. Your friends, your family, They don't care about you. So can you imagine that political figures do? Your best friends and your family barely care. They barely care. They barely care about you. And you think that fucking Beto O'Rourke does? We're going to take your guns. I'm Beto. Beto O'Rourke? What the fuck is that? What kind of name is that? His real name is something else. His father named him Beto so he'd have a chance to be a politician. Because Beto sounds Mexican. And then O'Rourke, it sounds like a dumb Mexican restaurant. Like that's also an Irish pub. Like that kid that was on the Tonight Show when he said Taco Flanagan's or whatever. That's what it sounds like. I don't know what happened to that guy. Is he dead? Where is that guy? Anyway. Some people move to LA and they fall in the Pacific. He might not be dead. What do I know? That's the addendum, folks. That's where it's at. That's where I'm at. I have aunts, uncle. They're like, one of my aunts was like, I like this Beto. You shut up. Call your son. I like Beto. I mean, at what point do you fucking get real and realize that it's a circus? I like the Beto. He says a lot of things. I just think he'd be a nice change of Beto O'Rourke. Get a hobby. Go paint seashells. I don't give a fuck what you do. If you're not collecting a check from this shit and you're not fighting for something you truly believe in, stop passively following this like it's sports or like it's a reality show. You know how many times I sit down with people and they're all incensed and they're all ready to go and they don't have a goddamn fact and they're just ready to start and they're angry about 9 other things in their life that they won't tell you what they're about. So they just channel it into some political diatribe that makes no sense to anyone at the table. They start yelling and screaming. You know, somebody the other day was going off about what they pulled out of the Paris Accord, the climate agreement. I'm like, do you even know what it is? I can't believe we pulled out of the Paris. I can't believe. Do you know what it is? I'm not saying it's good or bad that we pulled out. Do you know what it is? Or did you hear someone and now you're repeating it because you're really angry about God only knows what? So that's my point. You know, if you need, go get a potato and put a Marlboro Light in its mouth and watch that and then press play on your phone.